Hello, good morning, and welcome here live from the Wild Gallery in Brussels, where you are joining Interreg Europe's 5th Interregional Cooperation Forum titled Europe, Let's Cooperate. My name is Gerrit Heijkoop, and for the next 3 hours I will be your online host to attempt to make you really part of this meeting here this morning, because we have a full house, the seats will soon be packed, and we will try to make sure that as many people as we can all over Europe will get inspired, will get the opportunity to share their experience, and in the end all make a better and more positive impact on our society. Now stay tuned, because we have a dedicated online program for you. We have this little warm-up here right before we start at 10 o'clock at the main stage. Then we'll follow the plenary proceedings for about an hour. And then during the coffee break, stay with us. Grab a coffee yourself. You can do that throughout, of course, this morning. But we will have some exclusive content for you, where you can also ask your questions and even get more hands-on experience from the content being shared here. Then we go back to the plenary, and in the end, again, after the plenary proceedings are done, stay with us, because you'll get some more exclusive content here for you. Let's explore what's going to happen, why we're here together with Miia Itänen, who is the communication officer from Interreg Europe. Miia, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Hi. Well, you would be the go-to person to learn more about why we're here, what's going to happen.
Yes.
This 5th Interregional Cooperation Forum, what is this here this morning?
Well, like you said, it is the 5th thing. So Interreg Europe is really about cooperation and bringing people together. And I think Europe Let's Cooperate sort of embodies all that. We're now sort of starting in a slightly different context, because it's already the 5th edition, and we want to keep adding like new elements and making it new every single time. We are now moving to a very exciting phase with our program. In the past, Europe Let's Cooperate used to be all about projects and finding partners and setting up partnerships to develop your project. Yeah. Now we already have a lot of ongoing projects, and actually we just approved a new batch of projects a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. So new ones are just getting started. So it's not so much about building those new partnerships. Now it's really about the results and what comes out of this cooperation.
Exactly, and that's a main focus on the program here. We're going to capture a lot of stories of real projects, achievement, concrete good practices that came out of that. Before we move into that, bringing people together. Who are here today?
Well, I mean, I have a pretty good overview of who's here, but I also know that we have a lot of people watching us live right now, which is great. And we have a very varied audience. I mean, the room is going to be packed, and it's going to be full of project partners, country representatives, people from basically all countries of Europe. We have more than 30 nationalities joining us here today. I have a little bit less information on who is going to be here watching us, like here with us in this studio, but I'm sure it's going to be a varied crowd as well.
Well, let's start to explore, because we have different opportunities for you to participate here with us in the studio. And to manage that properly, our team is extended with 2 very proud colleagues. It's Julie Paternoot, our social media manager, and Petra Polaskova, who will be managing Slido. Let's start with you, Julie. How can people use social media to influence what's going on here in Brussels today?
Well, Gerrit, we've got 2 different ways that people can interact with us online. We have our Facebook account and a Twitter account, both at Interreg Europe, as you can see here on the table. So we've got a special post for you on Facebook. Please do post on it, share your thoughts, share your ideas, let us know where you're coming from. And we also have on Twitter, if you just hashtag Europe Cooperates.
So why not challenge our audience, Miia? Yeah. Why not ask them to take out their mobile phones, shoot a picture of where you are watching us from, and then show your face to us here in the studio and to the whole wide audience.
We should.
Shall we do that ourselves as well?
Yes.
We do that?
Yes.
Here we go. We'll post our selfie on hashtag Europe Cooperates pretty soon. But first, let me go back to Petra, because those of us who are now watching the broadcast, they see some kind of interface on the right side of the screen. What is that?
Yes, on the right side of the screen you can see Slido. And we really want you to use it. You have a possibility to engage in several polls that we have ready for you. So please vote. Tell us where you are. Tell us what is interesting for you in this online event and the event that is happening here. But we also have a place for you to ask questions, because we will have plenty of speakers here on the stage and also here in the studio. So in the second tab on this little place on the right called questions. Just open it, type your question, send it our way, and we will ask the speakers to answer your questions. And if you don't have a question, you can still give a thumb up to any question that already shows in the list.
Exactly. So you can kind of prioritize which questions you will pick to read out. Yeah. And I believe we already have a question right there, right?
Yes.
Can you tell us what's happening?
We have a question from Romania, if I'm correct. Saharia is asking us how private people could engage, could be involved in European regional projects.
Exactly.
So,
well, Miia, let's explore, because I asked you who's here. Well, there's people from all over Europe, but what type of organization, what type of people, where do they work?
Well, I like this question because there's sort of two dimensions to it, and I might talk directly to the camera since I'm responding to the question. So, we have, as the project partners and as the main representatives, we work a lot with public authorities and managing authorities and the bodies in the regions that deal with structural funds and jobs and growth programs. As an individual, it is a little bit more difficult to get involved in the project directly because really you have to be part of these public bodies to be a formal partner. But each of the projects work at the regional level very closely with regional stakeholder groups and regional partners. And it's all about the activities in the region. So as an individual, the best way to get involved would be to sort of tap into the stakeholder activities and get involved in those discussions and sort of benefit from more the results and the activities happening within or as a consequence of the project.
So what you would have to do to get the language right, there is Interreg is a fund which is funding projects for interregional cooperation and learning. They combine partners. These are the public authorities or semi-public authorities who are involved. And then the public parties locally engage stakeholders.
Exactly.
You could become a stakeholder if you want to participate in the project. So to our question asker, how can I quickly find partners in Romania that I should reach out to and say, well, I want to be a part of
this? We actually have a lot of tools. We have a whole sort of online community because for us, I mean, that's also part of the reason why we are online right now, because Europe Let's Cooperate and Interreg Europe, it's all about like bringing those results out and sharing them not only with the bodies involved, but also with the broader community. On our website, first of all, you can find information of every single project that is funded by our program. There's a very simple search and all of the project information, the project websites are under that same platform. So on our website, www.interregeurope.eu, all the info is there. Same applies if you want to find specific people from specific region or people interested in a specific topic, a specific theme. We have an online community with more than 16,000 people.
Wow.
And there is also search function, so you can look for people based on their country of origin, region, profession, topics that they're interested in, projects that they might be interested in proposing, projects that they are already involved in, good practices that they have identified in their region that they can share with others. And
so there's all these ways of entry to see if you could get involved.
Exactly.
Now, another part of the Interreg Europe language is topics. Let's quickly explore that. We see the 4 bright colors everywhere.
That's it.
It's not general learning or general policy improvement. There's a focus.
Yes. As a program, and that's why we keep repeating, you keep seeing the 4 different colors, we work on 4 different topics. The first one is research and innovation, the little yellow one. The blue one is SME competitiveness, followed by low carbon economy, and environment and resource efficiency. I mean, there's 4 different categories. Each of them are quite broad, so you find a lot of different sort of subcategories underneath. But those are the sort of 4
But somehow, somewhere, the projects funded by the Interreg Europe program contribute to better policy regarding any of those 4 topics.
That's it.
Interesting. That's good to understand. Now, you already say it's already the 5th forum, so we've been going on since at least 2014. I think I remember the first time I was with you as an online host. Can you share some of the projects, or even more interesting, some of the learnings or good practices that are being discovered across Europe? What is a story that sticks out to your mind?
It's hard to pick just a few, and that's also why we have this event right now, because this is not only about the results in the general policy context, it's really about sharing those concrete stories. So I don't want to spoil too much of it, because we will get to it once we get started with the sessions. But in general, I mean, we do have a pool of stories. On total, now with the latest projects that have been approved, our program is currently funding 258 different projects.
Wow.
each of them engaging several partners. So there is a lot of stories. In each of the topics, the 4 ones that we just discussed, you find a lot of different ones. One very concrete example would be, for example, a project called Niche, which is working on food and honey, and they're sort of combining high-quality food with high-tech. So they're using research methods, innovation, Internet of Things to do sort of research on the quality of the food and the product, and then that sort of is combined with the local efforts for the local food production.
Interesting. And since the focus is so much on this interregional, international cooperation, in this story, where does that international aspect come to life? How does that work?
It comes from the exchange. That's why we involve several different partners. I mean, part of the activity happens within a single region. And that's why it is so important to work with those local partners and stakeholders and basically sort of identifying what is working very well in your region, what kind of good practices you have that could be shared with others, or pinpointing those areas where you might need a little bit of help or support, and then looking at other regions and seeing where you can find that help and how the others could support you. And then sort of bringing together a group of actors working on topics that are also of your interest and finding solutions together, sort of sharing your experiences, looking at what has been done elsewhere and how that could perhaps be used in your own region. I mean, perhaps not direct copy-paste, but more like adapted to really fit your own context.
Yeah. Hold that thought. If you're just joining us, welcome here live from the Wild Gallery in Brussels, where in about 5 minutes or so, we're going to start here with the first part of the plenary program, and we're going to try to take you along. You can participate by submitting your questions either to us here in the studio or to the speakers on stage via the interactive action box on the right of your screen. You can participate in the polls, and you can reach us through social media, #EuropeCooperates. Let's quickly look. We asked 2 questions. Petra launched a poll, where are you watching from? We saw a lot of people from Spain and Belgium. But the second question was about how many times people have participated in an online event with us. Petra, what are you seeing there?
Most people come from Spain today, but we've got quite a few people from Belgium. And a lot of first-timers as well. That's quite exciting. It's really an even split almost. That's really, really exciting. And you know, we've got a few people who say they'll never miss one.
They've never missed one. So welcome back if you've never missed an online event with Interreg Europe.
I'm so glad to hear that.
They must have seen you a lot as well, right? So, but those of half of you, I see over 40 people have already participated. Great job. If you're just entering, make sure you fill out the poll. And over half of you who are here for the first time, let me reiterate what's going to happen. We are, as you can see, in the back of the plenary room, where we try to create a dedicated online experience for you, really take you along by giving you a little introduction of what and how we are here, by making sure you can follow the plenary session really well. You literally have a front row seat. And then during the coffee break, where you hopefully by now have a nice piece of coffee, maybe a piece of cake, it's kind of an event.
Or even both.
Or even both. You can stay with us because we have additional content for you exclusively. We will talk a little bit more about the status of the program. We will go deeper into a specific project story, the RACE project that you will learn all about, and how that really had an effect in a region in Sweden. And we'll talk about a little bit more in depth about the policy learning platform that Miia already just briefly mentioned. And then we take you back to stage. So it's really a continuous experience. And if you know anyone, I guess, policymakers or people from managing authorities or anyone interested in the topic of research and innovation,
SME competitiveness,
social media enterprises competitiveness, low carbon economy, and
environment and resource efficiency.
Make sure you share the link to this broadcast right now, because we're about to start. And we see we have Julie waving. Julie, something interesting happening online.
Yes, we've got a wonderful selfie from Annika from Sweden.
Let's show it.
If you see it on my screen. Hi, Annika. It's great to hear from you. And yes, everyone, keep your pictures coming. #EuropeCooperates.
Exactly. If you want to make it into our broadcast, #EuropeCooperates, and we can show you on screen. Annika, it looks like when the G on the map that you're actually from the Eurobro country.
I have an idea why she's following
exactly.
us.
You must be.
You will find out soon enough as well.
Exactly, during the break. Now, Miia, last question before the room is filling up. Why regions? Why is this program so focused on the region and not on municipalities or cities or not on countries? What is the strength of regions?
But regions are really the building block of Europe. And also, I think now in the current context that we're facing in terms of cohesion policy and the future of Europe, regions really play a very, very central role in sort of building all of our futures. And that for us is really the level to operate on, because they have also the sort of support functions, funding, programs, strategies. And if we sort of get things right at that level, it's going to lead to a lot of good results that will then trickle down further to the local communities as well.
Exactly. It's this nice intermediate level where you have enough scale to actually experiment with stuff, yet you have a local touch. Interesting. Now, you've been working with Interreg Europe for a while. Can you share another story? You talked a little bit about the high tech and honey creation. What else is a story that really sticks with you?
I would stay a little bit in the high tech field. I mean, I'm from Finland myself, so I have to pick an example from my own country. We have a project called IEER, which is sort of a very interesting example because it's built on an initiative from one region that was the sort of entrepreneurial region that set the example for all of Europe, because once a year, the European Union sort of picks a few sort of regions to show example. And as a sort of build-up on this, they then continued on a project. And they're working really on supporting young entrepreneurs at local level. And a lot of the activities have been inspired by the buzz that we have in Finland around entrepreneurship, about innovative concepts and so on. We have an annual event called Slush, where innovative entrepreneurs pitch their ideas, meet investors, sort of find that platform to scale up their ideas. And this is something that through the project is sort of being spread out elsewhere. And also they have other examples. They're working with students and local associations and so on to really find those people in the regions that might need support, that already have the good ideas but are sort of looking for ways to build it into a business. And it's working very, very well. It's one of our sort of more advanced projects, and so far the results are very promising.
Nice. And I think we can hear in a nutshell here what the Interreg Europe program is, right? So there's a good practice in Finland, the Innovation Festival.
That's it.
And then that is being shared among other regions. Do you see already then other innovation festivals popping up across Europe? Or what is the impact?
Not exactly in the same format. Also because we work more at perhaps a slightly more abstract level. I mean, a lot of the work that we do in the project or that the partners are doing seek to influence the policies in the region. So you might not see within the project directly a new sort of event happening in the region, or you might not see like a big program launched like right away, but you might see that going into the local strategy, like supported by the politicians, like really building it into what the people in the region plan to do in the future.
And in that way, the leverage might be much bigger.
Exactly, exactly. So it's really like making sure that it's part of the regional strategy.
Well, Miia, thank you very much for sharing the stories. Thank you very much for introducing us into the world of Interreg. If you have any questions to Miia about Interreg, about anything you see in the broadcast, use the opportunity to send in your questions. If you don't have any questions yourself, use the opportunity to like questions of others, so Petra actually knows which ones she wants to read out or send to Katarina on stage. And well, it's a little over 10 o'clock. The room is being filled. Katarina is ready. Let's go to stage.